This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Privacy.
Go to privacy.com/rogue and get $5 off your first purchase.
Or $5 of free money that you'll spend. Wait, what's the difference? There is no difference. It's $5. You want $5? Go. Have you heard this, Jason? That the #1 fear is not death, but speaking in public?
So I have conquered speaking in public and thus conquered death as well?
That does track, but I suppose for the rest of us who haven't gotten there, we've got Brian Gavalos, who is a communication expert.
I don't know if I'm supposed to kill you.
You can try.
Brian, explain to us what you do.
You know companies, right?
I've heard of them.
Like businesses.
Like Arby's?
Arby's is perfect.
Sure.
They sometimes want to communicate something to people, and sometimes they're bad at it.
This is a really good reductionist explanation. I'm with you.
And then I come in.
When I say, no, more horsey sauce, and they say, sir, we cut you off at a gallon?
Yeah.
The important thing is everybody's afraid of how to give impromptu speeches. Like, I think we would all rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy.
Yes.
So what are the steps to get us through that?
There are several. And the good news is, it genuinely is easy. I'm proof of that. I am a nervous wreck all of the time. I'm not comfortable in social situations. I'm not a natural extrovert. I fell into a sort of performance background and a sort of performance methodology that acts as a framework for how I can be comfortable giving presentations, be comfortable teaching others, be comfortable communicating anything, anywhere, genuinely.
If I'm hearing you right, basically you learned a structure
Yes.
that makes it possible to do a thing that you never thought you would be capable of doing.
Now we hear these tricks like, oh, imagine everyone naked,
Yes.
which doesn't work for me.
No, it's weird. When I'm around naked people, it makes me even less comfortable.
Exactly.
So I'm not talking about those kind of tricks. I'm not talking about those grand gestures. I've also heard, imagine everyone in a cowboy hat. Somehow that's more familiar. I have no idea. Instead, maybe if you are really comfortable with what you're gonna say, meaning like if you're gonna tell the story about that time your grandma poisoned the lemonade on accident, you've told it a million times. It's a funny, familiar story.
Classic
You
grandma.
could probably tell it on national television and be okay. It's when you know you gotta give something important that matters to your job or to your career or to your processes, that's when you get nervous and buckle up.
I think that is part of what attracts young people to magic, is because it's a structure that you can practice at home alone in the bathroom and do it enough times that you just stick to the structure, and you know at the end of it, people will clap and say that was entertaining.
And you can get incrementally and objectively better at it.
I have questions about magic, but now's not the time or place.
And why it's done in the bathroom over and over and over again.
Giving presentations is something that everyone needs to do well. They need to be comfortable giving presentations. There is a time in everyone's life, more regularly than they'd like to admit, that you need to talk to a lot of people, that you need to get your idea understood by others. And if you can't do that effectively, you miss out on opportunities that you don't even know you missed out on.
Right, so let's say I'm somebody who doesn't like to talk in public, but I've got a job where eventually I have to give a presentation. There's 20 to 50 people out there. That's all a black box. I don't think of myself as a performer. What is the structure I should think of how to fill, 10 minutes?
Yes, that's very common. You need to look at your content, look at your message, and distill it down to what is the bold promise? What is the bold concern? What's that statement that really summarizes and draws interest in it? What are you comfortable leading with that you know is going to get attention?
Should it be true?
Yes, and it needs to be something that you can substantiate. It's a teaser.
Yeah.
You must not spoil your own story, but you must still gain interest. So if there's a real practical, pragmatic approach to this, it is look at your story. The story is our Q1 results are down. Okay, great. So it's a bad story, but you're gonna have to deliver that.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
But distill it down to the bold statement of, give me 10 minutes and I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna turn this ship around.
So what if you wanted to tell a story about maybe a universal fear, like speaking in public? Maybe that should be the first thing that you announce. And then you announce somebody who's overcome that fear, and then you have a structure to take you through it.
I would sign on to that.
Going on.
So you don't start off with like a goofy joke or something like that?
Okay,
because that always seems
authenticity.
really contrived.
Listen,
You're describing the
authenticity.
cold opens of our show.
Yeah, sounds really familiar.
Authenticity is everything right now. Younger generations who didn't grow up in this sort of tried and true, big blue, mega corporations background that their parents did, they don't see the, hello and welcome, I'm so excited to be here. Immediate turnoff. The old rules are dead, really, in terms of giving presentations in that stoic, traditional manner.
It's like the new version of that is when you watch a YouTube video and the first words out of their mouth are, hey everybody, smash that like and subscribe button. It's just like, get to the point.
And who are you?
Yes.
This isn't how you talk to your wife. I know that.
Right.
I hope so.
Smash
Smash the like button.
the like button, honey.
I don't like that at all.
I'm now calling it the like button from now on.
Are you a marriage counselor as well?
Okay, I will say, I do have a lot of content in which it's baked in to say, all of what we've just covered applies to relationship advice. It really does, because you're being authentic and you're distilling your message into something that is digestible and that's true. So I'm going to introduce a topic, I'm going to introduce a situation by, here's a bold statement to capture your attention, and then I have the rest of the time to make what I promised true.
Because my bold statement is usually, I'm really sorry. It was Brian's idea.
Listen, and there's a lot of footage you could show to make that true.
So I suppose if you have to deliver the bad news about quarterly 4 or whatever, you would begin saying, bad news people, we're down 20%, but if you'll give me 10 minutes, I have a proposal of how we can fix it.
And here's why that works. Now as an audience, you've let them go, prove it.
You've bought time.
You want that, prove it. That's vested interest.
So that's wild because as a magician, you don't normally like people like this.
Skepticism of,
But as a storyteller, you absolutely want this because this is communicating, I'm listening.
I'm listening.
It's your powerful thesis statement that you're starting everything off with.
And it's not needy. It's not needy. It doesn't come across, hey guys, come on. We're gonna talk about this and it's gonna be so good. You're gonna love it. Promise. It's gonna be, no. It's real. And I've given you a finite, specific amount of time to let you know that by the end of that, you can hold me accountable to did I do it or not.
So begin with a promise that is of benefit to them. In the eulogy scenario, it might be starting your 10-minute speech with, I hope by the time I'm done, you see this person in a totally different light. At which point everybody
Beautiful.
goes, all right.
I knew Ted. My opinion's not changing on him. Let's see what he has to say.
Right, and then now your challenge is to surprise
Yes.
in minute-long vignettes.
Yes.
And as far as storytelling goes, you're kind of setting the stage, you're setting your challenge for your protagonist and
Yes.
saying, here's what we need to accomplish over the next 3 acts.
Yes. The second thing, after you've made that introduction, is to beware of never spoiling what is your point. Never spoiling that point. Spoiler alert really does apply to this, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say you've never seen The Wizard of Oz before, okay? Statute of limitations has expired on that, by the way.
It's the one.
I'm going
It's
to
the
spoil
one
it
we
for
can
you
do.
now. Yeah. So it's obvious that you don't get someone to watch a movie by saying, you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz? Oh my gosh, it's great. So it starts out, it's like in black and white first, right? And then there's this twister, and then it's like Dorothy, and then, but she lands in Oz. We don't explain movies that way.
It's like the guy from Ant-Man.
Just boom, boom.
Yeah.
Detail. There's no reason for you to see it now. Whereas if I say, you haven't seen Wizard of Oz, it's like an Americana classic. This is, you can't really appreciate modern movies before you understand the shoulders that they're standing on. And The Wizard of Oz is one of those that all great film stands on. You've got to see it. It's like the first epic. I teased it. Now you can have discovery. Similarly, when you're giving a presentation of a story to convey, don't start off with the, if we invest 10% more in our employees, we'll be able to make it through the next quarter. That's your point. Shh. Keep that. That's valuable. You say, give me 10 minutes of your time, I'm going to tell you how we right this ship.
Right.
And your point is investing 10% more in whatever. You want to substantiate why, problem, and then hit them with the solution. It's so tempting to lead with the solution to get credibility. I'm saying get credibility by promising what's in it for me by listening first.
And again, to take it back to storytelling, this is just like we try to do in the videos. It's like, don't present what's going to happen right up front,
Yes.
because then you've just got
nowhere to go.
nonsense for the next 40 minutes.
You can't start at 11.
This reminds me a bit of Randy Olson's work where he talks about and, but, therefore, and he says that all of his work is, the folks on South Park, they would write an initial draft of a thing, and then their goal was to take every and change it to a but. So on the Wizard of Oz thing, instead of saying this happens and then this happens and then this happens, you might say, you might think that it's an old classic that only old people like,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you will be blown away and you will see the impact that it's had in modern culture. Now all of a sudden, that's a tangible benefit to me to invest the time to watch Wizard of Oz.
Thank you.
Anyway,
we're good.
Microsoft, I'm available.
Okay, well, if you want to go for a next level, we can introduce a third item that is so important because you don't have to be an expert at whatever it is you're talking about.
Oh, we know that one pretty well, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
and you can still be successful.
That is interesting because we aggressively present ourselves as students, bad students at that, on the show. And there are some people who confuse the medium for the message and keep on saying, you guys are idiots. And we're like, duh, that's the way we edit it. We make it look that way. That's the story we're telling.
Also, we're idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yes, it does help.
Authenticity matters. There's a story in my family that my grandmother loves to tell. She was a teacher's assistant in Vegas for a long time, and one day she was assigned to teach a math class. And the running joke in my family is that our genetics never had the math. It just never happened. She's teaching like 4th grade math, and it dawns on her, much to her horror, that she doesn't understand the content. I mean, like, this math is beyond what she ever learned.
But she has to get up in front of a bunch of kids.
She's never done this before. With much glee on her face, she says, they said, all these people, all these students, these are the ones who didn't pass on the final math exam, so we need to tutor them and coach them, so that's your job. So what I did was, I said, okay, so who got number 1 correct? Oh, Timmy did. Timmy, why don't you go up on the board and show and walk us through how you did that?
Yes!
Now, there are 2 ways to think of this story. One is fraud. The other one is facilitation. That's what it means to facilitate. You're taking the information of all the minds in the room already. Everyone here knows stuff. If you're in front of an audience, whether it's delivering a eulogy, delivering sales quota information, there's already information out there that you can leverage for the expertise.
So let's say if you were had to put on a show, some sort of program, 10 to 20 minutes or something like that, and you really don't know what you're talking about, so you bring an expert up on to talk about the subject.
Way too meta. but in the eulogy example, I guess in that case, let's say you had a structure where you call your shot at the beginning saying, I hope to change your mind about so-and-so, and then say, most people would think of Grandpa Jones as surly and mad. Who here has a moment that they remember him being surprisingly kind? And then their story becomes hijacked.
It becomes part of your credibility. You've just got to prove her. That person just proved your point. So now we all look at you as, you knew Grandpa Jones better than anybody. That's unbelievable. You're right, it is hijacking, you're right. You've hijacked that credibility and absorbed it into your own mega credibility.
Yeah, wait, it really is. It's like a black hole. You're just like, more mass.
But truly, all the attention is still going toward you because you're facilitating that. We, as an audience, are still seeing that one person up delivering the message, somehow harvesting all this information with a plan, with seemingly magical foresight. But all you did was ask who has a story about him that is about him being kind.
So all of a sudden a eulogy becomes a bold statement at the beginning, I'm going to change your mind about him, and all you have to do is write down 4 emotions that you see on the surface of Grandpa Jones and solicit counterexamples. And the moment somebody's good, you let them keep going. And if they're bad, you're just like, thank you so much. And then you move on to the next one.
Delivering a message is a universal need. Everyone needs to be able to present. And if you think about it in terms of that bold statement that gets their attention, not spoiling really the crux of what your message is, leaving that for the end, there has to be something worth it for them to keep listening to you. And involving the audience to help you build your own credibility, you genuinely cannot lose.
I get that this works, and I know it intuitively, but I have a background as a performer. If you're somebody right now who has nobody to talk to, how do you practice when there's nobody to talk to?
A ventriloquist dummy?
Yes, exactly.
Invest in puppeteering.
Break your mind into multiple personalities.
I'm talking to you, who you don't want to be a performer. You've never been interested in performing. This is scary. This is fear-based for you. Take whatever you need to present. Whether your boss called you to say, hey, on Monday I need you to review this with the team. You know, with 50 people, what? Take whatever you're going to say, find out what the most important thing is, and then take that entire chunk and then cut it in half. Can you still get to your point if instead of 10 minutes, you only have 5? Do it again. Don't speed up what you're saying. Just cut that 5 down to 2.5 minutes. How does your story need to change to be condensed smaller and smaller and smaller? And if you condense it all the way down to, say, 15 seconds, 5 seconds, because you really can. Then you'll identify what that bold promise is.
That is one of the key things for me with movies and books and just people talking in general is the economy of storytelling. Like, trim all of the fat, cut unnecessary words.
Okay, check this out though. You could also do the opposite. Take your message, because this happens, say, actually you have 40 minutes, not 20. Go ahead and fill up 40 minutes. What other details are important enough in your story that justify that additional
Here's
time.
what I think that the youngest generation has been practicing that because the tweet is the atomic unit of storytelling.
Yes.
Because you could take any movie and reduce it to a single
Yes.
tweet, or expand it out to the full movie, or expand it out from there to the whole
Yes.
franchise.
Yes.
Like all of Lord of the Rings is ring gets thrown in a volcano.
Yes.
It's a bad ring.
Yes.
That's the story.
The world is saved.
And then you expand. You're like, guy doesn't want to do it. Comes from a
Yes.
comfortable
Makes
place.
friends along the way. Great.
Right, a little bit longer, and off you go. Man, this is great. Okay, so what resources do you recommend people read to kind of practice and get more of these bullet points and hooks to tell stories?
I really do recommend Truth in Comedy.
Oh, I don't know this
It's
one.
a great book. It's focused for improvisers and improv comedy, but it gets to the heart of what does the character in this scene care about? What is the character trying to convey between this father-son dynamic or whatever? What is the meat of it? And we don't have time. This audience is going to get bored unless we entertain them quickly.
Right.
So that helps you understand how people like Chris Farley and stuff just distilled and got straight to the character and straight to the emotional stuff that mattered.
Well, this just says a lot about modern attention spans and how they have been increasingly dwindling because of mainly social media and the constant access of our phones and everything. You really do have to trim everything down to make it as efficient and razor sharp as possible.
I'm glad you brought this up. There's a lot of companies out there that need a facilitator to tell them how to make their messages. Where should people go to learn this?
You can find me on Netscape Navigator.
Nailed it. I nailed it with the setup, and he didn't even know his website. It's fine. It's fine.
I do offer some of these services and consulting at methodologycoaching.com.
Very cool. Dude, Brian, thank you so much for
thank
this. You just exposed the thing that we do. This is the last episode of Modern Rogues. You all have the recipe. Make your own.
I
It's
still get the
fine.
free soda?
No, it's good. I'm even
Okay.
doing the thing where I walk off set, which I always do.
He does that
I like
sometimes.
that because it gives us an out point.
So is this
He's
real?
really, he's
Is
really
this
Everything's
real?
meta from
Yeah,
now
no, it's
on.
over.
Will he
It's
come
fine.
back?
It's over.
Will
He's
he
just
come
right
back?
there. Yeah. No.
Oh, he's right
no,
there.
Probably not. It's fine. No. Anyway.
No, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get everybody all caught up. What do they need to know?
First, we need to know what privacy.com is.
Yes, privacy.com/rogue. You sign up, you link it to your account, and credit card companies make money a few different ways. One is they charge merchant fees. That's the 2% or whatever. They also charge you fees and interest and all that stuff. But the third thing that nobody talks about is they sell all of your info. That's how you get all of those airline miles. That's how you get all of that free stuff, is they're literally telling anybody who will listen for a fee what you're up to.
I'm not up to anything. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, maybe you need that.
Privacy.com/rogue does not do that. They value your privacy. The reward is that they're not tattling on you at all times about what you're up to.
And there are all sorts of other subsidiary little benefits. My favorite thing is that you can create a bunch of burner cards with a click of a button and just set limits on all of them.
Okay, that brings us up to the part where we were talking previously about how my credit card got compromised 3 different times in the last year, and we know it's somebody local to Austin with sloppy security standards, and I created a honeypot. I created different burners for each of them, and I labeled them like this vendor dash trap, that vendor dash trap, and I've been waiting to figure out like which one of you suckers is compromising my stuff.
It wasn't me. Who did you catch?
So here's the weird part. As I created the burner cards, there was one little checkbox that said, lock this card to this vendor. And I was like, I hadn't seen that before. So I checked it, and I think I've been hoisted by my own petard because I've locked each of the cards to the different vendors. Even if somebody is trying to steal it, it doesn't work anywhere except for that vendor.
So privacy's secure enough that you prevented the bad guys from even committing a crime.
Yeah, but the only frustrating thing is I don't get to catch them in the act red-handed. But that's fine. The important part is that everything is safe and secure, and that everything is private thanks to my friends over at privacy.com. If you go to privacy.com/rogue, they're gonna give you $5 of real money to spend on literally anything you want. For example, awesome stuff at scamstuff.com. You sign up and it's more safe, more secure, and more private.
And you get $5. They're just giving it to you. Privacy.com/rogue.
Burner cards. Just visually speaking, I'm just seeing the shadows on our faces. Everything's fine? Okay.
I am too.
Like to my natural eyes, it looks like we're in a suspense horror movie.
Yeah.
But as long as it looks good on camera, I'm good.
Now we have Jigsaw. You're gonna have to speak.